Have you ever wondered how one man's ambition could topple a 500-year-old republic and birth an empire? This is the story of Gaius Julius Caesar, a name that echoes through history, synonymous with power, genius, and ultimate betrayal. His life wasn't just a series of events, it was a storm that reshaped the entire Western world. Join us as we journey back to ancient Rome to witness the meteoric rise and the tragic, bloody fall of its most famous son. Our story begins not in the gilded halls of the Senate, but on the muddy battlefields of Gaul. Caesar, a brilliant military strategist and a charismatic leader, was leading his legions in a series of grueling campaigns. For nearly a decade, he fought against fierce Gallic tribes, pushing the boundaries of Rome further than ever before. He wasn't just a general shouting orders from the rear. He was on the front lines, sharing the hardships of his men, eating the same rations, and sleeping on the cold ground. This built an unbreakable bond, a loyalty that ran deeper than any political allegiance. His dispatches back to Rome, the commentaries on the Gallic War, were masterpieces of propaganda, painting him as a conquering hero, a protector of the Republic. The common people of Rome adored him. They saw him as one of their own, a champion who brought glory and wealth back to the city. But while the people celebrated, a different sentiment was brewing in the heart of Rome. In the Senate, the traditional seat of power, Caesar's growing influence was seen not as a blessing, but as a mortal threat. Senators, men from old aristocratic families, watched with increasing alarm. They whispered in shadowy corners about his unprecedented popularity, his loyal army, and his boundless ambition. They feared he was becoming too powerful, that he aimed to be not just a consul, but a king, a title Romans had despised since they overthrew their last monarch centuries earlier. The political tension was a powder keg. Leading the opposition was a faction of conservative senators, often called the Optimates, who saw Caesar's every move as a step towards tyranny. They believed in the old ways, in the power of the Senate, and they would do anything to preserve it. The standoff reached its breaking point in 49 BC. The Senate, feeling cornered, issued an ultimatum. Caesar must disband his army and return to Rome as a private citizen to face his political enemies. For Caesar, this was a death sentence. He knew that without the protection of his legions, he would be prosecuted and exiled. He stood at the edge of a small river, the Rubicon, which marked the legal boundary of his province. To cross it with his army was an act of treason, an open declaration of civil war. The ancient historian Suetonius tells us he hesitated, weighing the monumental consequences. Then, with the famous words, "Ali iacta est," the die is cast, he led his 13th legion across the water. Rome was plunged into a devastating civil war. It was Caesar against Pompey the Great, his former ally and now his greatest rival, who championed the Senate's cause. The conflict raged across the Roman world, from Spain to Greece to Egypt. Caesar's military genius proved unstoppable. He decisively defeated Pompey's forces at the Battle of Pharsalus, cementing his control over the Republic. Returning to Rome not as a defendant but as an undisputed victor, Caesar began a series of sweeping reforms. He reorganized the calendar, creating the Julian calendar we still partially use today. He extended Roman citizenship, planned massive public works projects, and settled his veterans on new lands. He was declared Dictator Perpetuo, dictator for life. To his supporters, he was a savior, bringing stability and order after years of chaos. He was efficient, decisive, and seemed to have the people's best interests at heart. But to his enemies in the Senate, this title was the final confirmation of their deepest fears. A dictator for life was just a king by another name. The Republic, they believed, was officially dead, and Caesar was its killer. A secret conspiracy began to form, a desperate plot to save their vision of Rome by eliminating its new master. At the heart of this conspiracy was a man named Marcus Junius Brutus. This is where the story turns from political struggle to personal tragedy. Brutus was not just another senator. He was a close, trusted friend of Caesar's, a man he had mentored and promoted. Brutus was also a descendant of the legendary Lucius Junius Brutus, who had famously expelled Rome's last king. He was torn between his loyalty to his friend and his devotion to the Republic, a legacy he felt he had to uphold. The conspirators, including the shrewd and calculating Cassius, played on Brutus's sense of honor and duty, persuading him that assassinating Caesar was not murder, but a noble act of tyrannicide, the killing of a tyrant to restore freedom. For them, the fate of the Republic rested on a dagger's edge, and Brutus was the key to their plan. The day chosen for the act was the Ides of March, March 15th, 44 BC. The air in Rome was thick with foreboding. Caesar had reportedly been warned by a soothsayer to beware the Ides of March. His wife, Calpurnia, had nightmares of his death and begged him not to go to the Senate that day. But Caesar, ever defiant of fate and unwilling to appear weak, dismissed the warnings. As he entered the portico of the Theatre of Pompey, where the Senate was meeting, the conspirators surrounded him. They pretended to be presenting a petition. One senator grabbed his toga, the signal to attack. Then, they all drew their daggers. It was a frenzied, brutal assault. Caesar fought back at first, but when he saw Brutus among his attackers, his trusted friend with a dagger in hand, his will to fight seemed to vanish. According to legend, his last words were, "Et tu, Brute." You too, Brutus. He collapsed at the base of a statue of his former rival, Pompey, bleeding from 23 stab wounds. The great Caesar was dead. The conspirators burst from the Senate house, shouting liberty, freedom, tyranny is dead. They believed the people of Rome would hail them as liberators. They were terribly mistaken. Instead of celebration, they were met with horror and confusion. The sight of Caesar's blood-soaked body, displayed in the Forum, and the passionate funeral oration by his loyal lieutenant, Mark Antony, ignited the fury of the Roman populace. Antony, holding Caesar's torn and bloody toga, reminded the crowd of all that Caesar had done for them. The people's grief turned into a riotous rage. The assassins, including Brutus and Cassius, were forced to flee the city. The assassination, meant to save the Republic, did the exact opposite. It plunged Rome into another round of brutal civil wars. Caesar's death created a power vacuum that his adopted son, Octavian, and Mark Antony would fight to fill. In the end, it was the young, cunning Octavian who emerged victorious. He hunted down and defeated Caesar's assassins, then turned on and defeated Mark Antony and his lover, the Egyptian queen Cleopatra. In 27 BC, Octavian, now the sole ruler of the Roman world, was granted the title Augustus by the Senate. This moment marked the official end of the Roman Republic and the birth of the Roman Empire, with Augustus as its first emperor. The very thing the conspirators killed Caesar to prevent, the rule of a single man, had become a reality precisely because of their actions. Caesar's legacy is therefore a grand paradox. He was a man who, in his quest for power, inadvertently set the stage for the destruction of the republic he claimed to serve. His death, far from restoring it, sealed its fate forever. The shadow of Caesar loomed large over the empire he never got to rule, and his name became a title, Kaiser, Tsar, for emperors for centuries to come. His story serves as a timeless, cautionary tale about ambition, power, loyalty, and the unpredictable currents of history. Thank you for watching this journey into the life and death of Julius Caesar. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history, and let us know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to see us cover next. See you in the next one.